The Snow White live-action movie is coming out later this month. And strangely enough, I have not seen much press for this movie as of yet.
It's probably because they can't stand being in the same room together.
Yeah, one possible explanation being that the co-stars, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, allegedly hate each other and have an icy relationship on and off set. This was commented on because Rachel and Gal presented together at the 2025 Oscars ceremony.
There's a Berlin Wall of body language between the two of them.
And this clip of them walking out on stage and presenting together went viral, with a lot of people saying they very obviously are tense when they're around each other. They didn't make eye contact.
Here we go.
Please welcome Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot.
I'm pretty sure that guy got both of their names wrong. It sounded like he said Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, like Gallstone Gadot.
Gal is not how you say
I wonder
her
if they
name.
called her Gallstone growing up. Gallstone Gadot. That was like with the bullies in the
More like Gadot.
Are there playgrounds with bullies in Israel? I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure that there are. But she definitely doesn't look like a Gallstone, and the other one doesn't look like a Ziegler.
Mm-hmm.
She has this habit of making this face.
Zegler does?
Yes, it's like a smile frown.
She does this.
Yeah, if you were watching the show Lie to Me, that would be called a micro expression. That would be telling the truth of what you really feel.
You're right. I see her do that all the time.
She's doing it right there.
Yeah.
She takes like a big breath. She's like,
Here we go.
Here we go. She's like, she's gonna talk now. I'm not gonna be able to understand anything she says.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
They do this thing where they talk with their teeth showing. Like
they're just trying to smile, but it's a fake smile.
It's a fake smile.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest
face is completely cut off in the
It's
video.
probably from whoever clipped
Because she's so tall, though.
No, it's probably from whoever clipped
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
Yeah, they didn't look happy to be in the same room together.
It was cold. It was dead in the water. Like, there was no chemistry going on between them as co-stars. That's what people took note of.
What's going to happen now, guys, is I'm calling on all of the journalists to finally do their job. You try to trap these people in horrible answers that ruin your movies all the time, and that gives us plenty of fodder to discuss on this channel. But what I want one of you to do when you're sitting down with Variety to do some puff piece about the movie, and they're both sitting there, it's gonna have the poster behind them, and I want you to ask your questions and then just sneak in one, just like, what do you think about the IDF?
Look, their best bet is actually to make them do the interviews together so that Rachel Zegler can't be alone in any of these rooms. So maybe Gal Gadot can be tasked with keeping Rachel Zegler on script.
You would think so.
But after all, the most infamous clips that Rachel Zegler is responsible for were featuring Gal Gadot as an accomplice to her actions, and they were both very excited about the fact that Snow White is feminist. Here are some of the responses,
but apparently the song they came out to there was Someday My Prince Will Come.
Oh, really?
Which is just a slap in the face to Zegler.
I didn't even realize. Yeah. One response said, Gal Gadot is such a shitty actress that she can't even feign interest in an award presentation. That's the most basic thing an actor should be able to do. Another one said, I've noticed y'all love bashing a young up-and-coming actress, but not the active supporter of a genocide because she looks weird.
Well, of course, how can you support a Snow White movie when there's a genocide going on in Congo? I was going to say in the Congo.
There's a Gongocide.
When there's a genocide going on in Gaza and a femicide going on in the Congo, or we'll just call it Gongo for short.
There's
both of them.
Yeah, there's a fengicide going on in the Congo, and it's just... We're so stupid. Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot could never record a 2-hour podcast together, by the way.
No, that's what they should do. And you know how like some of the big shows will do like the Talking Dead.
The Gongo.
Like they have like the Talking Dead.
Yeah.
They should have like a 2-hour podcast that they're forced to perform after the
Mystery
premiere.
Science Theater 3000 of Snow White together.
Or they're forced to go on with Michael Rosenbaum for his podcast.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the actor that plays Jonathan, the prince guy in the movie? Where is he?
He's a stalker.
Is he getting any work? Another one said Gal Gadot is ugly inside out. Don't disrespect Rachel, who actually can act, and she's beautiful. You dumb Fs.
Unfortunately, Gal Gadot's like sitting smile has more charisma than most of anything Rachel Zegler has ever done.
The much superior dynamic between Snow White and the Evil Queen is, of course, Kristen Stewart and Charlize Theron, but Disney does not recognize that as canon, so no one's talking about that. Another one said, yeah, sure, in the new Snow White, the tall chick is supposed to be jealous of the short one's beauty. I just think that the comments about Rachel Zegler's looks are a little bit overkill. Like, she is a beautiful girl. I don't think that she has any problems in the looks department.
Aid for the Gongo in the chat. There.
Aid for the Gongo. Fists up. In solidarity with the Gongo.
Unfortunately, we canceled all that USAID money before we could send anything over there. But I might be willing to turn the money train, the money faucet back on for the Gongo. There's a 20
Shane
there.
H. Wilder said to anyone watching with audio issues, refresh your streams and you'll be fine. YouTube shit the bed. I hope it's YouTube's fault. I didn't know there were audio issues. Are we good, guys?
The audio mixer on my end says that we're good in recording, so we're fine.
All right, I think we're good.
Let's play a couple of I'm willing to dunk on Rachel Zegler. Okay, I love dunking on Rachel Zegler. I have no problem with that, and I think that Gal Gadot is an extremely charismatic woman. But I'm not gonna pretend like she's Helen Mirren or some really she's no Glenn Close. She's no unbelievably talented actress. She's not even a Margot Robbie.
No.
Let's play a couple of examples so that you can. These were all, and to be fair,
this is from the Snow White teaser.
It's never good. So they've been doing this with Daredevil recently, where they'll clip something out of where there's no audio. And it's one small clip that has like a mistake in a fight scene and it loops. So it makes the whole thing look bad. But really, if you watch it in the context of like all of the fighting beforehand, all the fighting after, and all of the sound design, you only catch it if you've watched it more than one time. But if all you're watching is just the mistake on repeat. So what we're watching here is the mistakes on repeat.
But it's not just that. It's the one line they decided to include in this 30-second teaser from Gal Gadot. And it's just not believable at all that she's the evil queen.
I said enough.
I said enough.
Said enough.
She has a problem with the word enough. Because then there was this absolute masterpiece from Death on the Nile, which we actually reviewed in the early days of this channel.
A chef and enough champagne to fill the Nile. A chef and enough champagne to fill the Nile.
She didn't throw the champagne at a reflective point where she's halfway through and throws it. Normally you'd stop the line.
No, she goes a huge pause, enough champagne, then flicks the champagne to fill the Nile. It's this really pregnant pause in between the line. Yeah, is it her accent or is it just the fact that she's not good at acting?
No, it's her accent. It works against her. The same thing I was saying about the actress from Captain America: Brave New World. Not just the fact that she was 90 pounds and 4 feet tall, but English clearly wasn't her first language. So all of the inflection points that would normally be spoken for any type of weight to your words just came across as if she was reading the words off of a script and she learned them phonetically. Now I'm sure she's one actress who managed to do that fairly well was Gong Li. in the movie Miami Vice, she didn't speak English and she had to learn each line separately. Like she had no idea what she was saying. I guess she's like just assuming that whatever she's saying isn't
like
insane.
the way Lee Jung-jae did for The Acolyte.
But the thing is Gong Li is a really, really good actress. So even if the lines probably would have hit a little bit better with, if they got Lucy Liu to do it and it was somebody whose English was her first language, maybe the lines would have hit better. She was still such a fantastic actress that it still worked in that movie.
Yeah. I think that even though Gal Gadot is fluent in English, she still sounds like she learned her lines phonetically. Yeah. Like she sounds like she's really good at memorizing the line and not delivering it. And if she can't even act well enough to pretend she likes her co-star at the Oscars for 30 seconds, this isn't a good sign for the performance of the movie either.
No, it's
Which
not.
now has even lower box office estimates than we first predicted here.
Yeah, so it looks like it was originally going to open supposedly in the $65 to $85 million range, but box office tracking gets more accurate the closer it gets to release day, and that number has dropped as low as 48, as high as 58, but they're guessing, the Hollywood Reporter is estimating that it's going to hit about $53 million opening weekend. If you want some context for that, even the Little Mermaid live action remake made $95 million in its opening 3-day, $118 in its 4-day because it was over a holiday weekend. And I just pulled up, I feel so bad for, actually no, let me straighten it. I don't feel bad for Disney. These mistakes are all of their own making, but if you go down the list and you look at what these movies were making prior to COVID, it's just really sad. Alice in Wonderland, and remember, these are not adjusted for inflation. So in 2010, Alice in Wonderland opened to 116 million. That's just domestic. And most of these classic fairy tales do really, really well overseas because they're not American stories to begin with.
Sure.
The Jungle Book opened to 103. The Jungle Book opened to $103 million. Beauty and the Beast opened to $174 million just in America. That's the
Emma Watson
the Emma Watson one. 91 million for Aladdin. That one went on to make $1 billion. The Lion King, the original 2019 Lion King, that was the most lifeless movie you've ever seen, opened to $191 million just in America.
This legitimately shows that people don't care about movies anymore. Not just that that's the vibe I'm getting, but in absolute numbers, people don't care to see what Hollywood is producing anymore.
I'm writing off Cruella because it was May of 2021. So there was, look, I saw a guy double masked in a car the other day. So if I saw that in 2025, in May of 2021, it's Cruella. Nobody was asking for that movie to begin with.
No.
That opened to 21 million.
That was a low point for Emma Stone.
The Little Mermaid opened to 95 million. And then, of course, Mufasa opened to 85 million. That was just very recently. It's a downward trend, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's a downward trend.
They just don't have the guaranteed cachet anymore.
Nope, they do not. And with all of the trouble going on in the Congo, who knows if they're going to make any money overseas this time.
I mean, everyone is just glued to their TV screens waiting for the next update on what's going on in the Congo. To be fair, when they were hired, if I went back and looked at it, what happened on October 7th had not happened yet. That's true.
So they got sideswiped.
That's true. They actually, if I'm not mistaken, filmed this movie for the majority of it in 2021 and 2022. Am I wrong?
Yes.
And they've already delayed it by a year after it's
and then reshoots in 2023
finished.
Or something like that. But
yeah. So it's been a long time, and I think Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot evidently don't want to be a part of each other's lives anymore.
I'm sure that I like the idea that they both have like a calendar, like a counting down the date until they don't have to see each other anymore.
Don't you think that it's weird they haven't been doing interviews together? Like, where are the interviews? We're less than a month out from the release of this movie.
Be coming
Where
up in the
is
next
the
week.
press?
In the next week or so, they'll start doing that.
I suppose that the embargo has not yet lifted.
And they'll likely, I mean, I don't know when the embargo is going to be for this movie, but my guess is that it's going to be very close up until the time of release.
Because they're scared.
Yes.
They don't want the critics to have a say in, whether people end up buying tickets, but...
Yeah.
It's too late. It's been too late for them.
They wrote this one off years ago.
Right.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.